It's 70 grand. I wish I could be grand a
I know,
year.
right? Well, and that's the thing, and I've spoken of it in the past. It's true. I had to tell. There's some lovely. We have 6 new shows at the station.
Yay.
Being like fucking ass. Training, because it's that's. I mean, that's how we. You know. Um, but I was telling one of the new girls, Sima. She's just a lovely human being. She's 69, and she was saying, "Don't be like me, Pam." She's like, "Don't be 69 and have nothing." She's like, "I have no 401k," but she still has a house. She's like, "Don't be like me and have nothing when you're old." But the thing that's going on right now with me is that I can either be poor or I can be what I consider rich. But I either have to make under 16 grand a year or I have to make over 42. Otherwise, it's all the same. Because if I make over 16, then I lose my food stamps and my Medi-Cal.
So you'll starve.
And so I'll starve and not be able to take care of myself because I'd have to pay for my own insurance. So because Medi-Cal is amazing and I don't have to pay for insurance, just like last week I went and I got my hand x-rayed and that was free.
How is that, by the way?
It's fine. It's not broken. I'm so lucky.
Is that the hand you write with as well?
No, it's my left hand. So it's fine. I
It's
just
not the
took a
masturbation
tumble.
hand.
I took a tumble in Chinatown and I fell down and it was bad news. So
See, and that's good that you have Medi-Cal because I don't have it yet, and I do need to sign up for it, which starts in November till January.
Yeah.
And because I've been sick,
Yeah.
and I went to SF General, redid my SF, healthy,
SF,
yeah, which is not insurance. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want that $600 penalty come tax time.
Absolutely.
That $600 is worth something to me.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing is that, but you have to. I mean, you have to have some kind of insurance, but if you can't afford it, so that's the thing. If I make over, let's say that I make $24,000 a year. Let's say that I even make $32,000 a year. If I have to spend $1,000 a month on, and that's what insurance costs.
Yeah.
If I have to pay $1,000 a month for that basically doubles my whole overhead. That's like my rent plus another 1,000. That's 2,000 a month. And then I have to pay for food too. So basically, I stay just as poor as I am. Like, so it doesn't make sense to me to do. I see it as like a trick when I'm supposed to work a minimum wage job at 40, 60, 80 hours a week, so that I can afford to live
and still starve.
And still, yeah. And I better work and serve. I better work where there's food because otherwise, I'm not going to be able to afford to eat.
Restaurant business it is for you.
Exactly. So, I mean, I can either be poor or I can be rich. I'd rather be poor. Here. But then my buddy Sima says, well, you've got to save money and you've got to worry about this thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's never going to happen. I rent. I'm never going to buy a house. I can't put away money for the future. How can I do? How do I possibly put away money for the future?
Who would want to buy a house right now anyway? I would be too afraid to be stuck at one place for years, tied down. It seems like it's kind of like a prison. You're tied down to this one place to pay it off for almost the rest of your life. You can't go anywhere.
Right.
Or you're not even guaranteed that it's going to end up as yours.
Right. The bank could take, and that was what happened in the thousands when they had all these home loans willy-nilly, and people were convincing people because they were making commission off their loans and stuff to buy as much house as they could. Oh, don't worry, and then if you lose your job, you're screwed. You lose your house.
Yep.
But they were giving them loans that they couldn't afford, and they knew it. And then they got forgiven.
It was a scam.
And then they got forgiven for it, and people's lives were ruined. And that's the thing. But my buddy Sima too of Everyday Conversations on Race for Everyday People on Mondays from 10 to noon. She said she had an accident, and then she had to pay all this money, and it just wiped her out. And she's an old lady, and she's like, I'm gonna have to work forever because I'm an old lady. And
she
now
can't retire.
Right, and you know what a country is like by how they treat their old people and their children, and we treat our old people like shit.
Respect your elders.
Elders.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. And then with the children, immigrant children who aren't even immigrants, maybe their parents were, but they're United States citizens, can still be locked in cages in Texas.
Sure. Or if you're
yeah, of course the children. Ask for the children.
Or you were brought here as a child, and the only thing you know is this country, and you were promised that if you go to school, don't get into trouble, you can stay, but you're getting sent away anyway.
Sent away.
DACA.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
They're children.
And a
We
lot of
just
these people,
have no
and the thing is, a lot of those people, especially the DACA reciprocates, they pay their taxes.
Yeah.
They help the economy.
Yeah.
So it's funny that these crazy crackers don't realize, because they're the ones that are so obsessed with money and greed. But these people, these DACA recipients, are the ones that help with the economy, that keep it afloat.
Sure.
And they don't have any kind of police record or anything else like that. But most of them are either in the military or have graduated or are in university right now.
Right. And they can be iced out too.
Yes.
Now they can.
Yeah. Yay!
I'm constantly astounded, and I shouldn't be. I mean, I've been having I've been in a sort of tearful general malaise lately about my own poor me situations, but also just like the cultural norms in society that we're all participating in, which means if we're participating in it, we're part of the problem, and I get it. And I try not to be part of the problem by not having a smartphone. Hey, everybody out there. No, but I mean, yeah, smartphones are, I guess, important, but I just don't think, I think we're shaping children in the wrong way right now, and especially with the information. You just said, hey, you get a little tiny computer in your pocket that nobody's going to check or look at or see what you're watching. And we're just not monitoring. I mean, should we not monitor our children? I don't know. I have a huge problem with, I think that the reason that our president is so horrible and this whole Kavanaugh stuff happened is that 12-year-olds have access to all the porn. And there's 26-year-old men, there's 26-year-old men that have had phones since they were 16, and they've had all the porn. And they treat women horribly because they don't have a context for the porn. And all they see it as a physical thing, there's no emotional connection to it at all, and it's bang, 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 and masturbate, and it's what they see women as being. And maybe they only have a mom. Maybe they have a single mom, because that's what's going on. That's how people were raised now, is the dad just has no responsibility because he doesn't give a fuck, and then the mom is there. So now they've got the Madonna whore kind of thing happening, where all women are whores except their mom is perfect and she does everything for them. And so there's this weird dichotomy. No one's explaining sex because you don't talk to your 12-year-old about sex, and they're just beating it, and they're watching incest porn, and they're watching, and everything's out there, and they have no context. And we all just go, eh.
I'll take even a step further with that. Our dear 45 leader, every day there's something that he likes to tweet. So he bullies people, so that's also teaching another thing,
If you're a man, just say what you think and it's okay. But if you're a woman and you say what you think, you're a bitch, or you're a whiny, self-indulgent pity party. But seriously, like, why is that? I got chastised last night on my Facebook being upset about my birthday. And a comedian came up to me and said, it just makes you look bad when you do that. And I'm like,
wow,
nobody thinks our president was. So I express my disappointment, and I make myself look bad, and people don't have respect for me because I'm not happy and fun all the time. But our president, the man in charge, tweets his every feeling. It's like a shitter, like, oh, he took a poop, and he's like, this is important, look at my poop. And
that's
everything that comes out of his mouth is poopy yuckiness. But it's okay for him to express his displeasure about everyone. It's okay for him to call women fat, or call them ugly, or call them stupid, like he did that reporter 2
or
weeks
horse
ago.
face. He called Stormy Daniels horse face.
It is insane that we just forgive the highest leader in the land. But I'm a nobody, and I've got comedians coming up to me saying, geez, Pam, you look bad when you express your feelings on Facebook. Yeah, I meant to look bad. I was very, very sad.
Wait a minute. So when you got chastised because you just was expressing a feeling that you had about having a shitty birthday?
Yeah, I wrote, I hate birthdays. It's something about I was just throwing myself a pity party because I was like, yeah, me too, happy birthday.
I mean, it's not like you were uploading masturbation porn of yourself for the world to see.
Did somebody do that?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. I
mean, people do shit like that all the time. Or committing suicide on Facebook.
Oh my God, I've seen that.
Yeah, see?
And then they take the pictures down. It's horrifying when somebody slits their wrists, takes pictures, and puts it on Facebook.
There's so many slanderous things that you can post up on Facebook, but the fact that you're just expressing a feeling, you get chastised by that. That's stupid. I've done that before. I mean,
But our president, this picture of him shaking.
Look at his face.
And Kavanaugh is so young. I don't think that we should be appointing such young people to the Supreme Court. I think that's a mistake. I think they should be old and wizened and wise. I don't think they should be this young. I don't think they should be anywhere near my age.
He's 53. Yeah.
Yeah, he's less than 10 years old.
He is an ugly 53. I'll tell you that. That motherfucker look old for 53.
Well, I guess it's hard to be a federal judge.
I mean, no, I guess it's hard. I guess that's what happens when you're like a rapist.
When you hold women down and try to take their clothes
Yeah.
off.
I bet you got small dick.
I just
look at
the president. He's such a douchebag.
Why can't you kill evil, huh? Why can't evil die?
The thing is, they don't think they're evil. That's the thing. I honestly think that if you sat down with 45, he would think he's doing a great job as a president.
Oh,
he thinks that Kavanaugh is the right guy for the job. They think that women are stupid and they should just. I mean, reading this article that I read about, it wasn't outlawed. It didn't even exist. Marital rape didn't exist in all 50 states until 1993. Until 1993, it wasn't illegal to rape your wife because marriage is blanket consent.
And 45 was accused of raping his first wife, Ivanka.
Really?
Yes. In 1990, when they were getting divorced, she accused him of marital rape. So that's funny, because I believe they got divorced in 1991. And then 93, you said, is when the marital rape, yeah.
But in all 50 states. I think in some states it was still illegal,
But I mean, even if with that, I'm sure that it gets reported and no one gets convicted because that's your husband.
Right.
You are a civil union.
Well, and honestly, I was raised with the concept that once you're married, marriage is consent. And if your husband wants sex,
you give it to
him. That's what you please
obey
your husband. And it's just so funny, and I don't know, I have to be so honest on air, but this morning Jonathan was like, do you want to have sexy times? And I was like, no, I'm just not. I was like, I will if you want to come. I'm totally down for it. But I don't really feel like I want to have an orgasm. I just don't feel like up to it this morning. But it's like, if you want to have sex, we can totally do it. I have no problem. He's like, well, I don't want to do it if you're not going to come. That's kind of dumb. And he was just being really sweet. No, I mean, I gave him consent because I was like, if you want to. But he was like, if you're not going to be,
it's not going to be pleasurable for him because in his mind, he's like, she's not enjoying this and she doesn't want this right now. So if two parties don't want it,
it's not that I wouldn't enjoy it. I would enjoy it just fine. I mean, I get it. I just wasn't like, yeah, this is something I want to do right now.
Yeah, but your mind isn't like You've had sex before when your mind wanders off, where it's just like, this hurry up and get over it.
Well, I was married. I was with the same guy for 13 years, and yeah, the last 5 years of our marriage was like that 4 years of having sex. But I always, the thing is, if he wanted sex, I would always. That's what I just thought a wife did. If your husband wants sex, you do it.
Yeah.
That's just the way. That's why. And not that he ever forced me or anything. It was just like in my mind, that's what you did.
Well, that's why when you get married, they said the word obey to the wife.
Right, and obey.
When you got married?
No, we wrote our own vows.
Good.
He was a really progressive guy. My ex-husband was a great guy. There's nothing wrong with him. He's a really nice, great guy. We just didn't
mesh.
We didn't mesh anymore. And as my parents are fond of saying, I'm a lot to deal with. I'm a lot to deal with.
We're all a lot to deal with.
Well, the thing is, it's like, and I've made the joke to Jonathan, and she doesn't think it's so funny, and I've yelled it in front of Steve Poggi before as well. I'm 97.6% perfect, but that 2.4% when I'm not happy, I'm awful. Last week with the birthday, I was horrible. I was crying all the time. I was horrible to Jonathan.
And I'm going to apologize on air because I didn't make it any better.
No. I told you right. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm in the hospital. And I felt terrible the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, she came and I tried to text you. I'll show you the text on my phone. I don't know why it didn't go through.
We're just going to do the messenger thing now because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because I had I bought a little candle with a little thing for it. And I'm like,
so much. You're so sweet.
And then now I really felt like a super duper asshole when I found out. And I'm like, let me apologize again.
No, it's fine. I should have. My phone it's the dumb phone. My phone is dumb, and some things are good about it, and some things are dumb. In that, the only way I can text people now, I can't just text them or reply to a text that they've texted me. I actually have to go into my, where their name is in the address book, and then press
you gotta
view,
do that?
and then press off view. I have to press send message. So I can't I have to be careful not to reply.
Oh my.
I have to. It's so weird.
Oh my. It's a BlackBerry, right?
It's not. It's a fake BlackBerry, but it's
Oh.
dying. It's like 4 years old now, and I have a new one. But the only way to switch the card is that I have to go into AT&T and be like, I have this new phone. Make my old phone my new phone, and then I have to like probably input all the numbers by hand.
Oh,
I don't
shit.
know.
Oh.
But I wrote them all down into a book.
Okay, that's good.
So
You gotta back up.
I got it. Yeah, I'm like, fuck, man. But it keeping a dumb phone is becoming more and more difficult.
You might have to step your game
I
up a little
can't
bit.
do it. That's the thing, though. I don't think that people should be forced into paying $100 a month for their service to have a smartphone. It's like one of those things where, and maybe they give you the phone for free, but then you're paying for it all year anyway. I mean, it's.
Well, and then on top of that, you do get addicted to your apps and stuff, and it's just
don't-
yeah.
I can't app.
But I am sorry about your birthday.
It's
You know
Hey.
that the fact that you hurt yourself and you end up.
yeah, that wasn't fun.
This is a birthday to be remembered.
Or not remembered at all. I was just it's just one of those, I was having a super pity party, and I guess women aren't allowed to have those on Facebook. The only thing Facebook's allowed for is showing how incredibly happy you are all the time so you can make everyone else feel depressed. That's what Facebook's for.
No.
Hey, everything in my life is perfect all the time.
Lies.
Well, look at my Facebook.
The
Everything's
lies.
good. There's pictures of me with a tiger in Cambodia.
The
Isn't my life
lies.
great?
And then she gets eaten by the tiger.
Yes. But it's, I mean, Facebook is just evil. But I can't, and that's the whole reason I don't want one of the smartphones, as I don't want to have access to that all the time, because I will become addicted. And because I was back in the days on MySpace, I was addicted. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and have to check my laptop, my hard, computer box, and I'd like sit in front of it and I'd be like, oh God, what's going on in Manchester? Like
Right.
it was so stupid. I was so addicted, and I just don't want to have that in my life all ding and have to look at it and be like, something's happening. Someone else is having a better life than me, and I feel like a pile of dog shit. I don't want that in my back pocket all the time.
Well,
I don't want to be reminded how great everyone else's life is all the time because they're lying on Facebook because it's not a real place. Like, I don't.
It's
I
a lie.
can't handle it. All it will do is further my depression and drive me into just a deep and sad depression.
I will say this: at least you won't be getting text messages from our government like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I was reading something on Huffington Post about how people have been stressed out because the news, everything that is going on in the world is so depressing. And if you have like a smartphone or what have you, obviously you probably might have Huffington Post or some kind of news outlet.
Washington Post has great articles there. I mean, they're
Yeah.
forward thinking.
Oh yeah, I get Washington Post and Daily Mail, and then everything that usually pops up, it's not happy stuff. It's like, oh no, what happened now? Or like last week, the Kanye West meeting.
Ooh, what happened there? Tell me.
Kanye.
I haven't.
I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
So
Let's look. I gotta look it up. I
you
have
have
no
to
idea.
look up. You should listen to what this coon
Kanye?
said.
You're so funny.
Kanye West.
Wow.
Made
I was
he-
gonna look that up, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, you just coined that yourself. I can't
did.
look that up because you just coined
Like
it.
I coined it. So I'm sure most of you people have seen the minstrel show of Kanye West and the president and Jim Brown, who is a ex-football player, cooning it up in the White House as Kanye just went on a rant, talking about like stop and frisk for about a hot minute, and then he talked about his Jesus, and then he threw out some stereotypes out there about like how the Democrats and help put black people on welfare, which is a lie.
Is he a Trump supporter?
Yes, he is.
He's a Trump supporter.
Girl, look that shit up. It's pop. Yes.
I put up Kanye, and it says Kanye West and Kim Kardashian criticized for meeting Ugandan dictator.
Oh yeah, this is the new one this week.
Kanye
He wants
West
to make a
Times
new.
talk on mental health with Charlemagne at Charlemagne
The God.
canceled.
Yeah. Oh, look up Kanye and then Trump. That was last week. This Negro needs to go away.
Isn't he gonna run? I thought he was gonna run for president.
Oh, there it is. He's trying to run for president. 2024.
Kanye West tells Trump he was misdiagnosed with bipolar.
Yeah.
disorder.
See, that's another one.
Kanye West meets with Trump at White House, drops F-bomb.
Yeah, it's
Kanye
a
West
mess.
visits Trump in Oval Office, White House. So
That's the one.
MSN, this
I would go to that
yeah,
one.
this is the
Then he's like bootlicking, and he's talking about like how Hillary, he loves Hillary, but as a man and who didn't have a father figure in the house, playing catch with his dad, like just all a bunch of bullshit. Um, was like Trump was kind of like his dad, his surrogate dad, and goes up and hugs this white supremacist. It is a minstrel show.
That's insane.
It's fucking. You should listen to some of the stuff that he says.
It won't let it happen for us for whatever reason. MSN won't come up.
Oh,
But we can.
I'm
You
sure
met him
there's
at
some
Trump
YouTube
Tower?
stuff.
Wait, that was an old one. You
That's
met
an
him at
old
Trump
one.
Tower.
There might be this stuff on YouTube, but yeah.
We'll look at.
And then this week he was in Africa with his bitch ass wife.
Because what is he, the new ambassador to something? Like,
No,
why
he
do
ain't
they
shit.
care? Why
He
do
just
they
a
care?
crazy. He just a crazy man. He's one of those dudes in the Tenderloin that be talking to himself that's misdiagnosed.
Oh, this
So he
is this is a
says.
funny. Oh God, I really.
Okay, you
I
should
can't
just
even look at any present pictures of him.
look at his
He's-
face.
He's just the worst.
It's just-
person
you just have to-
ever person. I can't even.
What an ugly
I
man.
just-
And both of them are narcissists. No, both of them are mentally
Of
ill.
course they are. He's obviously he's misdiagnosed with bipolar because he's got a narcissist.
That nigga has
narcissistic
bipolar.
complaint.
He's bipolar. He's crazy.
When Kanye West visited with President Donald Trump at the White House Thursday, he had a few things to say. But an impassioned, oh dang it, I'm totally trying, they really want me to listen to commercials and I'm just not into it.
We don't want what you're
We
selling.
don't want it. We don't want
We don't want what you're selling. Siemens.
They won't even, you know what, they won't even let you turn off the sound. When rapper Kanye West visited blah, blah, blah. In an impassioned but sometimes difficult to follow 10-minute speech, West talked about the male energy in Trump's 2016 campaign,
Rape energy.
the U.S. relationship with North Korea, and his belief that he was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. I tell you what, that was pretty impressive, Trump said after West finished speaking. It was from the soul, West responded. I just jammed. The Kanye West live stream above shows the pre-lunch meeting was also attended by former U.S. football player Jim Brown and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
Coon.
West has been publicly supportive of Trump for several months, giving a similar speech to the audience after a performance on Saturday Night Live that was not aired. Here are some of the highlights from the full transcript of what Kanye West said at the meeting. We might have to bring another rap out to do this one.
Oh
I mean, we
shit!
might have
It might be time to bust some rhymes.
I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was connected with a neuropsychologist that works with the athletes in the NBA and the NFL. If you looked at my brain, it's equal on 3 parts. I'm going to go ahead and drop some bombs for you. 98th percentile IQ test. At a 75th percentile of all human beings, counting 8 numbers backwards. So I'm going to work on that one. The other one's 98%. Tesla, Freud. He said I wasn't actually bipolar. I had sleep deprivation, which could cause dementia 10 to 20 years from now, when I wouldn't even remember my son's name. So all this power I get, and I'm taking my son to the Sox game and all that, and I won't even be able to remember his name from a misdiagnosis. What I'm saying, we can empower the pharmaceuticals and make more money. That's one thing. I never stepped into a situation where I didn't make more money. So we can empower pharmaceuticals. We can empower our factories. We can bring not only Adidas on shore, but Foxconn. They have 4,000 jobs, making people $53,000 a year. And one of the things we gotta set is Ford to the high. We gotta set is Ford to have the highest design, the dopest cars, the most amazing. I don't really say dope. I don't like negative words and try to flip them. We just say positive, lovely, divine, universal words. So the flyest, freshest car. So what we got to start with, I brought a gift with me right here. What we got to start here is the iPlane 1. It's a high-powered airplane. That's what our president should be flying in.
Okay, that was rant 1.
Here we go. Kanye West on the 13th Amendment. There's a lot of things affecting our mental health. It makes us do crazy things that puts us back into a trapdoor called the 13th Amendment. Did I say abolish with the hat on? Because why would you keep something around that's a trapdoor? If you're building a floor, the Constitution is the base of our industry, of our country, of our company. Would you build a trap door that if you mess up, that if you accidentally something happens, then you fall and you end up the next Unabomber? Gotta remove that trap door out of the relationship. The four gentlemen that wrote the 13th Amendment, and I think the way the universe works, it's perfect. We don't have 13 floors, do we? The four gentlemen that wrote the 13th Amendment, they didn't look like the people they were amening. Also, at the point, it was illegal for blacks to read or African Americans to read. So that meant if you actually read the amendment, you'd get locked up and turned into a slave. So I was thinking, we don't need sentences, we need pardons. We need to talk to people. What is he talking about? The 13th Amendment is where we're like,
it basically, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, but also there's the point he's talking about with people who have been in prison, which he needs.
You're owned by the government when you're in prison.
Right, but he needs to express that, but he's not. He's just rambling on.
Well, this is good. Kanye West on male energy. I think it's bravery that helps you beat this game called life. Oh, fuck this guy. Fuck you, Kanye West. I think it's bravery that helps you beat this game called life. You know, they tried to scare me to not wear this hat? My own friends. But this hat gives me a different power in a way. So you know, my dad and my mom separated, so I didn't have a lot of male energy in my home. And I'm also married to a family that, you know, not a lot of male energy going on. It was beautiful though. You know, it's something about, you know, I love Hillary. I love everyone, right? But the campaign I'm with her just didn't make me feel as a guy. Didn't get to see my dad all the time. Like a guy that could play catch with his son. It was something about when I put this hat on, it makes me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. And made a Superman cape for me. Also, as a guy that looks up to you, looks up to Ralph Lauren, looks up to American industry guys, non-political, no bullshit. Put the beep on it, however you want to do it. It's a 5-second delay, and just gets it done. What is he saying? He's a Superman.
That hat gives him superpowers. The Make America Great Again hat.
He was wearing a Make America Great
Again hat?
hat?
Yes. He's been sporting that shit.
Oh my god. Ugh. Here's what he says on Trump. Let's stop worrying about the future. All we have is today. Trump is on his hero's journey right now. He might not have thought he'd have a crazy motherfucker like me. Are you comparing what Trump's done to the Joseph Campbell hero myth journey that he talked about on the? Do you know how to? Do you read?
No, actually, he doesn't read. And here's the fucked up.
Neither does Trump.
Yeah, I know. But here's the sad part. His mom, Dr. Donda West, who died, I believe, almost 10 years ago. She was a professor of African studies in Chicago State University.
Really?
And he used to go to class with her.
Huh.
I don't know where.
Because he likes money. Because if you like money, you like Trump. Because he wants people with money. Because what is a Democrat? What is a Republican? A Republican is someone with money who wants to keep their money. What is a Democrat? A Democrat is someone who wants to take the money of Republican and
But this is the same.
people.
But this is the same guy that was, you remember, on the air 10 years ago or 12 years ago after Katrina that says George Bush doesn't like black people.
Well, either does Trump, or I guess he only likes rich black people. Kanye West on his own speech. You are tasting a fine wine. It has complex notes to it. This guy. I mean, maybe if we all walked around with as much confidence as he does.
Is that confidence? I think that's crazy town.
He thinks he's better than everyone else, and maybe he's right because he's rich. Are rich people better than other people?
You know what? Something bad's gonna happen to this dude. It's something, and I hate to say stuff like that.
But
it's already happening actually.
So
no, a lot of us have been turning our back.
He's basically comparing himself to Jesus.
Well, his
Christ.
new album is called Yandi.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It is.
yes, he is. His new album was supposed to drop.
Well, and Gandhi did kind of like sexually assault him.
he Gandhi was kind of a racist too. I heard. Ooh, he didn't like black people, though the Indians get as dark as us and darker.
That's true.
But yeah,
But they
that.
have, well, talk about your friends too.
Hmm.
Uh, it's called Kanye West on Adidas. What has he done for Adidas? It's called the Yeezy effect. I went to Casper. We had a meeting in Chicago. I said, you got to bring manufacturing on shore, not even shore, into the core. It's not about borders. The core of Adidas in Chicago is the core of Middle America, and we have to make Middle America strong. So I had the balls, because I had the balls to put on this hat. This Adidas thing made me a billionaire. I could have lost $200 million walking away from that deal, but I knew it was more important for me to take the chance of walking away from that deal than to have no fathers in Chicago with no homes when we do have prison reformation. It's habitation, not rehabilitation, because we have no abilities in the first place. Because we didn't have anyone to teach us, except your mama was professor. It's more important than any specific deal, anything, that we bring jobs into America and we provide a transition with mental health and the American education curriculum that Jim has worked on, and Larry Hoover also has the curriculum he's worked on.
All right. So to let people know who Larry Hoover is, Larry Hoover was I believe he's the creator of the Black Disciples in Chicago, which is a hardcore gang. But back in the day, Larry Hoover was the dude that basically, you know, set up boundaries. Gangs, they were out of control, but not as bad as, you know.
Chicago gangs.
Yeah, not as bad. Well, no, this is in Chicago. They knew their turf. But Larry Hoover also had a lot of black brothers and sisters. They got murdered because of accidentally shooting people, drive-bys, all that
Yeah.
other stuff, putting not guns and drugs into the hood. So a lot of mothers and fathers lost their children. So
Stray bullets are crazy. They can go
Yeah.
into a house and just kill somebody.
I mean, but he's reformed himself. They have him like on some really. I think he's in jail for life. But I don't. I think people need to do their research a little bit more about Larry Hoover because
No, I just want to listen to Kanye. Whatever he says, I'm going to believe. How about that? Can I just listen to Kanye? Like, I just believe. He said it. I believe it. It's the Yeezus effect. I believe in the Yeezus effect. He said it. He met with Trump. I'm sold. Trump's a good guy now. Make America great again. How could he make America great again? How could he do that? How could he support blatant racism? Make America great again is saying, when was America great? Oh, the 50s. When black people weren't people? Well, that was a great time. Wasn't that a great time? Wasn't it a great time when all the GIs came back from World War II and all the white ones got houses and all the black ones got
Silch.
this? So, wasn't that a great time? Wasn't that awesome when interracial couples weren't allowed to happen and black people weren't people? And I mean,
Had to
hey,
drink
let's
up
make
from-
America great again. Let's bring it back to the time when we had, slavery, and you got to just, rape your black lady slaves or whatever you wanted because they were your property. Why not go back to that great time, dudes? Wasn't that great when you just got to fuck people indiscriminately without any recourse whatsoever because they weren't people because you owned them?
We were chattel.
Seriously? It's insane. Make America. When was America great?
I love the fact of drinking from a different water fountain. That sounds fun.
That is, I mean,
Or suppressing the vote. Oh wait,
What?
that's right now too.
I mean,
Silly.
it's
Kanye did that.
Kanye.
Kanye did that. He did that to the phone.
Well, and how far can we go back? Like, we've got Kavanaugh now, so should we just repeal Roe v. Wade right now? And should we just say, oh,
Coming next.
yeah, coming next, your new baby.
The coat hanger club.
Yeah, it's
Ah,
we have so many problems, and now we're back to
Kanye.
racism and misogyny, because life is so much better for rich white people when those pesky women who think things and know how to read, and those pesky black people, those pesky brown people.
I just, the thing.
don't just do what we say.
I just don't like when you know how much I don't like coons, and they're worse than to me almost white supremacists because they're so dumb to realize you're being used, you're being exploited, and the fact that now this is triggering into the hip hop culture. I don't like that. You're inviting white supremacy into something that we created, and that is an art form, and what it originally talked about was poverty, the politics, how we've been oppressed. But you're putting the oppressor into the culture.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
get the
he's
fuck out of
becoming-
here.
Well, then Kanye becomes an oppressor himself. But I guess if once you have that much money, how else are you not living on the oppression of others if you are, I mean, that big of a recording artist? Like,
I mean, his Yeezys start at what, $200, $500 for some shoes? What people in the hood can really afford that?
well, and
I'm just saying.
I know that's insane.
I just don't like the fact that people are inviting white supremacy into something that is art. I mean, it's white supremacy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mesh with no.
Well, maybe white supremacy is actually just becoming monetary supremacy, and it doesn't necessarily matter what color you are, because he's saying he's bought in, right? So he's one of the rich people that Trump is helping. He's one of the people that makes over $200 billion a year or whatever. I just made up a number, but think of a really big number that no one deserves to have that much money. Why would anybody need more than $1 million a year? What could you possibly want? You want a gold yacht? Fuck you. There's people starving, literally, still.
$1 million to buy your house here in SF.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how much money do you need?
How much? It's
How
not.
much?
It's just
It's on
greed.
the backs of other people. Though, but
It's greed, and it's I don't know. Once you have it, like you said, how much more do you need?
how much do you need?
Because
I
then it
just don't
becomes another
understand.
drug.
Right. But what do you need? What you need to have your nails done with diamond encrusted, to be real diamond. Like what are you doing with that money?
I mean, I understand.
What are you eating? Do you eat like the most, like, only pigs that have been rubbed with olive oil like through their whole body so that you can eat their, like, what? I can't. I'm just trying to think of like deliciously, like, you eat foie gras for breakfast. Like, what is going on that you? I can't.
I can understand being wealthy enough to buy property, to have enough saved for your family, to have an estate, but there's also a point to where you don't need to start exploiting people, and especially if you do own a company and if you do hire people. The way you make more money is sharing it. Honestly, the way to have a healthy economy is making sure everyone else gets a piece of the pie. Goddamn phone.
I know, we need to find some kind of what's it called? I have one.
Something
the little
that-
standy
standy
thing
thing.
that does the thing.
Hi. But yeah, it's.
So is Melania back from her African trip?
Oh yeah, that bitch is
Melania,
back.
yeah.
Oh,
Did you like the picture I posted?
Yeah.
Did you see it with the lady in the back giving the grimace? God, I
Yeah.
love that. I think that's such a
Yeah,
funny
that's
picture.
pretty dope.
But Melania's taking a selfie of herself, looking fantastic in her little white dress. I mean, no matter what happens, she looks great when she crowns.
I didn't like the fact that when she was in Africa, she wore that fucking colonial look.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course she did.
that's just so insulting. Like
Here she's wearing a really cute American flag dress. It's
fucking
actually it's not that cute. I don't really like that
that
dress
looked
on
like a
her.
mama dress.
Melania Trump's plane turns around after smoke burning smell reported on board.
Damn
We're
it!
just smoking the weed, baby.
Oh no, that plane was gonna go down. Shit.
Today he had a press conference.
Ooh, what kind of hateful rhetoric is he spewing out
Yeah,
today?
this is fun. Donald Trump asks, "Who cares about Elizabeth Warren's DNA?" Trevor Noah answers.
Okay, see, this is when when it shouldn't be news, but it ends up being news, and then we all end up talking about it because there's so many other things going on behind the scenes. And we're talking about Elizabeth Warren's DNA. Okay, the bitch has some native blood. Cool, let's move on.
It says President Donald Trump isn't letting a little thing like DNA get in the way of his never-ending Pocahontas taunts against Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, nor does he seem in any way inclined to break with his long-standing tradition of backing away from a dead.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? He asked yesterday when reporters told him Warren's DNA test results. Yes, she has a trace of Native American ancestry in her family tree. No, it won't be enough to convince Trump to make good on this $1 million pledge. As for the who cares, The Daily Show's Trevor Noah had a pretty terrific response. Watch it below. But first, a recap of the recent back and forth between Trump and Warren. Following yesterday's impromptu press conference in which Trump gave his who cares response to Warren's just announced DNA results, Warren quickly turned the president's words into a fundraising move and tweeted a video called This is what lying looks like. Have
That's
some
funny.
memory problems, real Donald Trump? Should we call a doctor? The tweet asks, here's something you won't forget, Mr. President. You're the least popular president in modern history, and your allies will go down hard in the midterm elections.
Ooh.
22 days, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Ooh. Drop mic.
Drop mic.
Damn.
This is what he answered to it. Pocahontas, the bad version, sometimes referred to as Elizabeth Warren, is getting slammed. She took a bogus DNA test and showed it that she may be 1 in 1,024, far less than the average American. Now Cherokee Nation denies her. DNA test is useless, even if they don't want her. Phony. Oh, even they don't want her. Phony. Are we allowed to do this now?
Okay.
Isn't she a senator?
Yeah, she is.
Isn't she? He disrespects our own government. He disrespects the system that he is a part of, that puts him in power and lets it. He disrespect. What the fuck is going on? We're just mudslinging now. We're just mudslinging.
Mm-hmm.
We all just get to be like. I mean, this is insane to me that we let this go. This is
acceptable
impeachable
for some people.
behavior. This is actions not befitting his post. He is the president of the motherfucking United States, and he gets to act like this. He gets to act like this, and we're okay with it. Hey, out there, you're fucking okay with this. You're letting this happen. You're tweeting it. You're liking it. 34,000 people are talking about this. We're letting this happen right now. This is our fault.
This is what the kids are looking
I
at.
can't believe this. And it keeps going. Now that her claims of being Indian heritage have turned out to be a scam and a lie, Elizabeth Warren should apologize for perpetrating this fraud.
Apologize.
He would never do that. Against the American public.
Fuck
Harvard
you.
called her a person of color. Amazing con. And would not have taken her otherwise. So now he's saying she's not smart enough to get into Harvard on her own. This guy is.
By the way, she
He
did
just
not.
said that she wasn't smart enough to get into Harvard on her own. He just called that affirmative action.
And by the way, she didn't use that. She's never benefited from using any of her Native American ancestry. So that's a lie right there. And first of all, his ass was too done to get into Wharton by himself anyway. His daddy had to help him get into Wharton. And do you know, come on, man. This dude is, his run-on sentences, his run-on tweets, I should
So
say.
now this is what she responds to it. We shouldn't have to beg elected officials to disclose their financial interests. That's why I've released my tax returns from the past 10 years. My plan to end corruption now would force the real Donald Trump all federal candidates to release theirs too.
What?
Yeah.
Drop mic.
Yeah, so she has an article, we'll read it really quickly, that says we keep forgetting what a liar, a thief we have. Does everybody know how many times he's the best, he was the best at the business, and that he's committed bankruptcy
6 or 7 times.
so many times, bankruptcy. Like,
And that money that he got from his daddy, he didn't make himself. He got it from his daddy.
wouldn't it be nice? I mean, if someone would give me a $1 million loan, I'm sure that I could,
Oh, well, they found out it wasn't $1 million loan. His dad set up a trust for him, a way to avoid paying taxes when he was first born. So by the time I believe he was 6, he had $240,000 or something like that to his name. So, and it kept building. The trust kept building as he got older. So yeah, everything he got from his daddy. Because he's a baby.
Because he's a baby.
He's a baby with small hands and a small dick.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets to call women stupid, we get to call him. I mean, we get to call him out for his tiny little penis.
Vienna
I
sausage.
mean, if we're just gonna.
We'll mudsling too.
We'll mudsling too.
When they go low, I'm gonna go dirty.
We're going lower.
We're gonna go low.
We can't go lower though.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
There's no bottom.
Elizabeth Warren wants the IRS to release tax returns for presidential candidates.
Good.
This is from a couple months ago. Senator Warren has an idea to keep political candidates honest, release their tax returns prior to being elected. As part of a sweeping legislative package, the Massachusetts Democrat dubbed the Anti-Corruption and Public Integrity Act, Warren on Tuesday proposed to the Internal Revenue Service be required to release tax returns from the previous 8 years for any presidential or vice presidential candidates. The IRS would also do so for each of these individuals in federal office. For congressional candidates, it would cover the previous 2 years before serving in office. While the broader bill focuses on corruption and lobbying at all levels, This specific stipulation seems to aim directly at President Trump, who infamously won the presidency without ever disclosing his tax returns to the American public. To enforce some of the proposals she outlined, including the banning of individual stock ownership for elected officials, a lifetime ban on lobbying for presidents, vice presidents, members of Congress, federal judges, and cabinet secretaries, and a ban on American lobbyists from accepting foreign money, Warren wants to create a new independent enforcement agency. There are dedicated public servants that enforce our ethics laws, but they have less authority than the security guards at the mall, she said during a speech at the National Press Club on Tuesday morning. Build a new anti-corruption agency to make sure that all key federal officials, even powerful senators and presidents, file disclosures and get rid of conflicts. Close up the loopholes in federal open record laws. This agency can shine floodlights on government actions and empower the public and press with new tools to help safeguard our democracy. She continued, we can do our best to insulate the sheriff's office from partisan politics and give it the tools it needs to seriously investigate violations and punish offenders. While such an expansive bill, one that would reshape the way lobbying is done in the nation's capital, is not likely to pass during his administration, Warren's prescriptions may serve as guidelines for progressives eager to get money out of politics, and it could provide a framework for potential Democratic presidential candidates. Well, you know why lobbyists are called lobbyists?
Why?
Because they used to be forced to be in the lobby. They weren't allowed to be in the actual chambers of Congress, and so they called them lobbyists because they had to just stay in the lobby.
Oh.
And so now it's so funny because lobbyists are actually in the seats. Like so many.
They control
it because there's so many of our senators and representatives have been lobbyists prior to being in. So it's a conflict of interest basically. But we've never policed it. And
now it's out of control.
Well, and ethics. I mean,
what's that?
Right, integrity, ethics.
No.
I mean, look at our president. Does he have any integrity or ethics?
Well, I mean, now I love the fact you brought those two things up because we have 22 days until midterms. Vote or die.
Please vote.
Or I'll kill you.
Please vote.
I'll come to your house and kill you. But now what's going on is voter repression. So in Georgia, you have the first black governor, female, running against white supremacist Republican. They're suppressing the vote there by trying to change different locations of voting, the absentee ballots, and most of those ballots and what they're doing is suppressing black voters, minority voters. That's in Georgia. In North Dakota, they are trying to suppress the vote with the indigenous folks there. So on the reservations in North Dakota, they have P.O. boxes. So they're trying to suppress the vote by saying they don't have a real address. You can't use P.O. boxes.
No way.
That's what they're doing. That's in North Dakota. In Texas, they're doing the same thing with the voter ID law, suppressing the vote with minorities there. So.
And ICE is going to come in and take people away from the voting, like from polls and stuff.
I can see that happening.
Absolutely.
I can see, yeah.
We're going to hell in a handbasket and we're letting it happen. And we're like, let's go buy the new Kanye West album. I mean, the world is falling apart. And we're just watching it happen. I mean, okay, so check this out. This is some real shit. Hey, everybody out there, if you used to like to do cocaine, don't do it anymore.
Oh,
a buddy of my buddy, one of my buddies went to a funeral on Sunday, and guess what it was for? Somebody, this is so it's a buddy, yeah, but they were doing cocaine that was laced with fentanyl.
Oh, no!
Didn't know. This is in San Francisco. And they were at a bar. And they snorted some cocaine.
Oh God!
And it was laced with fentanyl, and they died. So people are putting fentanyl. I can't understand why anyone would add opiates to.
By blow.
Yeah. So
okay, that's
not
scary.
only do we have the kids that died from the meth, they thought they were shooting meth. Lo and behold, actually fentanyl, carfentanil.
Oh,
so, the answer to this is. We need to start having drug testing facilities. Like, I mean, there need to be safe injection sites that have drug testing because I can't imagine that it's in cocaine now. Not, and I don't do it anymore. But I know people that on a weekend, if it's around, and I'll do some, I'll do it. I don't know, whatever.
This guy.
Yeah. So just you guys, and even ecstasy, they've been putting it in everything. So
And X too? God damn.
I don't know anybody who's died yet from that, but I mean, I have.
Something's gonna happen
I have
now.
a tertiary relationship with a person who was, I don't know,
Oh, that's terrible.
murdered by their drug dealer. I guess. I mean,
Why would you? I mean, that person should. That is murder. It is murder.
Yeah.
I mean, because fentanyl. The Patches story about the little boy that we did
Right.
was that 2 years ago or a year ago?
Yeah, the little boy who stepped on the patch at the pool and died of a fentanyl overdose. It's strong fucking stuff. I can't imagine why anybody would put it in anything else. But hey, remember those days in the 90s when it was cool to do and everything was fine? Not anymore. Don't do it. Just don't even risk it. It could be, I mean,
I was probably gonna party this weekend.
no, it's so scary. Well, watch your friends do it first. And then see.
And see if they go into convulsions. That shit's strong. No, thank you. Oh, that's fucking scary. Well, thank you, Pam.
Yeah.
You kind of probably saved my life.
Yeah, well, I ruined your weekend.
No.
Well, no, I mean, I want you to stay alive.
I don't want to party till the end.
No.
Literally to the end.
Pump and Trump. Donald Trump claims he only licensed his name for a real estate project developed by others. But an investigation of a dozen Trump deals shows a deep family involvement in projects that often involve deceptive practices.
Not surprised.
Since Donald Trump's fortunes came surging back with the success of The Apprentice 14 years ago, his deals have often been scrutinized for the large number of his partners who have ventured to the very edges of the law and sometimes beyond. Those associates have included accused money launderers, alleged funders of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, and a felon who slashed someone in the face with a broken margarita glass. Trump and his company have typically countered by saying they were merely licensing his name on these real estate projects in exchange for a fee. They weren't the developers or in any way responsible. But an 8-month investigation by ProPublica and WNYC reveals that the post-millennium Trump business model is different from what has been previously reported. The Trumps were typically way more than mere licensors or bystanders, and they're often troubled deals. They were deeply involved in these projects. They helped mislead investors and buyers, and they profited handsomely from it. Patterns of deceptive practices occurred in a dozen deals across the globe as the businesses expanded into international projects, and the Trumps often participated. One common pattern, visible in more than half of those transactions, was a tendency to mistake key sales numbers. In interview and press conferences, Ivanka Trump gave false sales figures for projects in Mexico's Baja California, Panama City, Panama, Toronto, and New York's Soho neighborhood. These statements weren't just the legendary Trump hype. They misled potential buyers about the viability of the developments. Another pattern, Donald Trump repeatedly misled buyers about the amount or existence of his ownership in projects in Tampa, Florida, Panama, Baja, and elsewhere. For a Trump tower plan in Panama, for example, Trump told a local paper in 2005 that his ownership would be less than 50%. But it's a substantial stake. I recently said I'd like to increase my stake, but when they're selling that well, they don't let you do that. In reality, Trump had no ownership stake in the project. The Trumps often made money even when projects failed, and when they tanked, the Trumps simply ignored their prior claims of close involvement, denied any responsibility, and walked away. The cycle is exemplified in Panama City, where the Trumps were involved in a project to build a massive tower and complex known as the Trump Ocean Club. The project's unfortunate turn included bankruptcy, then years later the forcible ejection of the Trump Organization from the managing the hotel. There, as elsewhere, the Trump Organization disclaimed responsibility. It emphasized that it merely licensed the Trump name to developers who handled everything from construction to marketing. The Trump Organization was not the owner, developer, or seller of the Trump Ocean Panama project, it said in a statement last year. Because of its limited role, the company was not responsible for the financing of the project and had no involvement in the sale of units. That was false. For starters, Trump arranged financing. His promised commission, $2.2 million or more, by bringing in investment bank Bear Stearns, which issued the bond that paid for the Panama Project's construction. Trump touted himself as a partner of the developer. His daughter Ivanka briefly boasted that she had personally sold 40 units. A broker on the project said he couldn't remember her selling even one. Meanwhile, Ivanka told a journalist at the time that over 90% of the Panama units had sold, and at prices 5 times higher than as comparable buildings. Both statements untrue. Not only were the Panama sales figures inflated, but many of the purchases turned out to be an illusion. That was no coincidence. The building's financing depended on obtaining advance commitments from buyers, often before concrete had started pouring. But in between the sales of the bonds in 2007 and 2013, the year the building went bankrupt, buyers of 458 units in the 1,000-unit building abandoned their purchase contracts. Those buyers forfeited more than $50 million in deposits, and they never took possession of finished units. Given that the buyers were often shadowy shell companies or other paper entities, it was nearly impossible to discern who the actual purchasers were, let alone why they backed out. Trump licensed his name for an initial fee of $1 million, but that was just the beginning of the revenue streams, a lengthy and varied assortment that granted him a piece of everything from sales of apartment units to a cut of minibar sales, and was notable for the myriad ways in which both successes and failure triggered payments to him. Consider the finance. Of course, he doesn't let us see his tax returns.
Of course, this is, yeah.
Consider the final accounting. In the wake of the project's bankruptcy, 50% default rate, and his company's expulsion from managing the hotel, Donald Trump walked away with between $30 and $55 million.
Thief.
Trump Organization did not respond to a long list of questions about its transactions. The White House didn't have a comment.
Of course they did.
Trump licensing strategy originated in the early 2000s comeback as The Apprentice propelled him to international TV stardom and restored luster to a reputation tarnished by multiple bankruptcies. As Trump put it in one promotional video during that period, when the first season of The Apprentice finished shooting, I was able to get back to my core business, real estate, and I've made some really incredible deals. That strategy is still playing out today. The Trump Organization, which pledged not to launch new projects during the Trump presidency, is aggressively pursuing existing ones, including the Dominican Republic, Indonesia, and India. That's a beautiful building. That's empty. The Trump Ocean Club building, the tall curved one in the center, there's a picture in 2015. It's gorgeous, but it's empty. Some long assumed beliefs about Trump are being reinvestigated with surprising results. This month, the New York Times published a 13,000-word examination of how Donald's father, the late Fred Trump, and his estate funneled millions of dollars to his children in possible violation of tax rules and criminal laws.
Talking about. Yep.
With copious documentation showing that Fred directed $413 million in today's dollars to Donald, not the single loan for $1 million with interest that Donald has always claimed.
That's
liar. It exploded Trump's long propagated claim that he is a self-made man.
Yep.
Liar!
Daddy!
This article examines another Trump claim that his post-millennium comeback and global expansion rested on the brilliant purity of a licensing strategy that paid him millions simply for the use of his name. That, it turns out, is no truer than the notion that Donald Trump is self-made.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ain't that some shit? And people.
How have we not impeached him yet?
I don't.
How is this?
There he's looking at us.
How did we let him? How are we okay? He is an immoral man. He is a liar.
It's because the fact of the matter, the Republicans have no balls. They're taking advantage of this moment. They just, like I said, they already did this tax cuts. Again, back in September for the 1%, because you Trump supporters out there don't realize you're getting fucked.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you get. Okay, so.
He's a liar. He sold himself as a self-made billionaire, but a Times investigation found that he received at least $413 million in today's dollars from his father's real estate empire. Much of it through tax dodges.
That's why he won't show his taxes. I mean, even before he won, something was rotten in Denmark. Why isn't this man showing his taxes? Like, we take the racist, sexist rhetoric out.
Yeah.
The man, it already smells fishy.
He's a liar.
Yeah, and like he's dodging the questions of like his taxes, and it's on record that how many times has he been bankrupt?
Yeah.
And plus he doesn't pay his people. I mean, it's come on, everything is there for you, but these people, it's a cult. His supporters are a cult.
So,
But
he's getting new members because everyone follows Kanye.
And for you black people out there who are cooning, shame on you. I would like to start a racial draft. I would like to trade in Kanye, Jim Brown, and Ben Carson for Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I want the black delegation to take. I will take Taylor Swift.
What about what's the rapper who's white?
And Eminem too, but I think you're gonna
No,
got a
but
black card.
the girl. Who's the girl? Who's
Iggy Azalea's gone.
Iggy Azalea.
No, we don't want that
You
bitch.
don't want her.
We cancel that bitch.
Oh, look, I don't. And one of my alarms is going off.
But the black delegation, we will trade you off.
What is an impeachable offense? Can we impeach Trump? Can we impeach him for lying? The Constitution reads the president, vice president can only be impeached or removed for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Oh, we got all that covered.
Right.
I mean,
Lying to the public about the nature of secret military intelligence related to a pending war is an example of something that you and I cannot do. It is a high crime. Oh, like what's a high crime? Is lying a high crime? Well, didn't we try to impeach? Yes, you can be impeached for lying because they said he lied.
Bill Clinton, yeah.
Clinton.
But he didn't leave office.
Right.
I think I can't remember how it worked, how he was able to stay in office. But he had an abuse of power and he lied. So that's why they impeached. But also those same people like Lindsey Graham that wanted to impeach, that did impeach Clinton, are the same ones that wanted Kavanaugh in. I mean, think about that. They used Bill Clinton as a sexual abuser, but he abused power.
I mean, she was a willing, but that's the thing is Monica Lewinsky. It wasn't a concept of
it wasn't rape. It wasn't assault.
She wasn't like, oh, I did things I didn't want him to do. She was like, hell yeah.
Right. That's the difference. But the Republicans turned it around.
Sure. It's like, this is not befitting the character of a president,
right.
Which is they're like actually kind of.
But you just put in supposed sexual assaulter to the Supreme Court. It's the hypocrisy of it all, basically what it boils down to. And then on top of that, our president is a sexual assaulter.
Yeah.
He even talked about grabbing pussy on the goddamn TV.
Yeah, he did.
What more evidence do y'all want?
Oh, look.
We got a phone call. We don't probably have time. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we are. We're almost done today. Look at that.
Look
Time
at that.
just flew. How does that happen?
We're getting old.
Time just flew by.
I wish his presidency flew by.
I keep saying things like, kids these days, and it's true. I'm like, kids these days, they're voting for our producer. But kids these days, hey, if you're over 18, please vote. Please,
or they'll kill you.
Please.
They'll kill you.
They'll kill you.
They'll kill you, actually.
No, it's
literally, it's do or die. This is
really
the most important.
This is so important.
I never thought I could ever actually believe this is the most important election. I thought that was 2016 and then 2008. But no, this is.
But who do we? Do we have for 2020 to run against?
They're talking about Joe Biden. I don't agree with that one. I think Bernie should run again. Yeah. I think he should.
It's time for a socialist.
Fuck yeah.
I think so.
I think Bernie could get some of those Trump supporters. Really, I don't. As much as I like Elizabeth Warren,
is she running for president?
They're trying to convince her to. I don't think she should right now. If anything, I think Bernie should run again. That's.
I'd vote for him.
Because
I'd vote for him or I'd vote for a lady. I mean.
Hillary obviously isn't going to run again, so let's not. We can't have an established Democrat. I'm sorry, both parties are corrupt. The Democrats have no balls. We just basically need to get Chuck and Nancy the fuck out. They too old. Dianne Feinstein, I'm not voting for you. I'm leaving that shit blank. She needs to go. I can name so many Democrats right now that I want to go, but we need more progressive.
Yeah.
We need fighters.
Not Republicans. How about that?
Yeah.
Anybody but Republicans.
And people who soft shoe and tap dance for companies.
I mean, if we can impress upon people
Money out of politics.
money. It's get the money out of politics. Get the money out of politics. There's no reason for Kanye to be in the fucking presidential office talking about his goddamn Adidas. That was a promo. What he basically got was a free commercial everywhere.
He don't own Adidas either. He doesn't own his own company.
But he makes money off it.
I know, but here's the sad thing. He couldn't start his own shoe company. He had to go off the white man and soft shoe and make that. See? Yeah. Kanye.
Come on, man.
By the way, I believe him and Kim are probably going to go get a divorce. That's just me.
Well, and
I hope so.
They both have enough money. It just doesn't even matter.
Give me some.
Right? Give
Buy my lunch.
All the people some. Or even make it even crazier. Divide the money among the whole world. It doesn't just have to be America that makes all the money.
Stop embarrassing us.
Stop embarrassing.
You're shaking hands and hugging a white supremacist, sis.
It's true. Let's put one more terrible stuff.
One more terrible stuff.
The president's. Oh, this is about the father. This is a quote about. Our dear father, Fred C. Trump, passed away in June 1999.
Oh.
Our beloved mother, Marianne Trump, passed away in August 2000.
Oh.
All appropriate gift and estate tax returns were filed, and the required taxes were paid. My father's estate was closed in 2001 by both the Internal Revenue Service and the New York State tax authorities. And my mother's estate was closed in 2004. Our family has no other comment on these matters that happened some 20 years ago, and would appreciate you respecting the privacy of our deceased parents. God rest their souls.
You mean those thieves?
Well, they didn't. I bet they didn't pay they didn't pay the whole 50%.
They didn't.
Everyone else pays estate taxes of 50%, but I bet they didn't. Because
You know they didn't.
People with money get to keep their money.
He learned from his father, Fred, and the kids learned from their daddy, Donald, and the cycle will keep repeating itself. So.
And there are people that are living in San Francisco for under $16,000 a year and working really hard at it.
And they'll pay their taxes.
I pay my taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. I pay
Because
my taxes.
because they'll get us.
Yeah, because they care. They care about that $2,000 for me. Why not get the, I don't know, $200 million that he probably owes in taxes? Why not?
That's a couple of
Why
schools and
not?
highways, right? More than that.
But
Shit.
rich people don't have to pay taxes, I guess. Just poor people.
Vote.
Yeah.
Or they'll kill you.
Well, through starvation, they certainly won't feed us because he wants to cut out food stamps.
Oh, and Social Security.
Right. Well, that's going away. We know there's none of that left.
Our generation's not going to get shit.
But they still want to keep it as a tax. They want to call it Social Security, but they're not. All right, everybody. What's going to be okay, or maybe not. I don't know. Either way, we'll be back next week.
Don't do cocaine.
Don't do any powder without testing it first. And are there testing sites? I know there's some. There's
I don't
gotta
know
be.
where.
I don't know where.
And be careful if you smoke weed. Make sure that shit ain't laced with anything, because now I'm scared about that.
No, not at the dispensaries. They're being really good.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying it, who knows? But
Yeah, don't buy
Sherm,
that shit on the corner.
Don't get the Sherm. Don't ever
PCP.
Smoking PCP without your knowledge is scary.
It's bad. You see bunnies and stuff.
Wouldn't it be terrible if they started lacing? How could they lace weed with fentanyl? Can you do that?
I'm sure if there's a will, there's a way. Some sicko out there is probably thinking about it right now. Don't be getting any ideas.
Don't get any ideas. We do not condone the use of any opiates really,
No.
unless you broke your leg in 12 places and you need fucking morphine because you're
You're in killer pain.
But if you have a toothache, please don't take fentanyl
Or oxycodone.
or oxy.
The more you know.
Thank you, Latoya. I'm really excited
Thank
about
you,
making
Val.
your face clean, and the coffee's really helping.
I'm glad you got some soap to wash your butt. Yay! Another Alta cast.
Yay!
And don't coon out.
Please, you guys, don't buy anything of Kanye West. You're gonna now boycott him. No Yeezus, no Adidas.
Amen.
Just say no. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Just say no.
Just say no.